Good day everyone! For this day, you're going to learn Total Quality Management. The chapters that we're going to discuss are Chapter 1, Management Evolution, Chapter 2, Quality Cost, Chapter 3, Leadership Effectiveness, Chapter 4, Total Quality Management Implementation, Chapter 5, ISO Certification, Chapter 6, Customer Satisfaction, Chapter 7, Employee Involvement, Chapter 8, Continuous Process Improvement, Chapter 9, Supplier Partnership, Chapter 10, Performance Measures, and Chapter 11, Benchmarking. Lastly, Chapter 12, Quality Function Deployment. At the end of our presentation, you're definitely going to learn a lot of things. So sit back, relax, and enjoy our video. Chapter 1, the Total Quality Management Evolution. Quality starts with having an understanding to the needs of customers, and this is also the foundation of TQM started. The foundation of quality control is as old as business industry itself, and this concept was introduced during the Industrial Revolution. Workers are not making a whole product and they need to do a part only. Indeed, it shows a decline in workmanship. Every after of the production, inspection is important because products are complicated and jobs became more specialized. The history of TQM. In 1924, Schwartz of Bell Telephone Laboratories developed a statistical chart for control of product variables. In the same year, Harold Dodge and Harry Romig developed the area of acceptance sampling as a substitute for 100% inspection. 1980s to the 1990s, new phase of quality control and management began, known as Total Quality Management. Definition of TQM. Total Quality Management is an improvement to the traditional way of doing business. It is an art of managing the whole to achieve excellence, a continuous process of improvement for individuals and the whole organization. According to D.H. Besterfield, only by changing the actions of management will the culture and actions of an entire organization be transformed. Analyzing the three words such as total, made up of the whole, quality, degree of excellence, management, it is a process of planning, directing, and controlling. 6 basic concepts of TQM. A committed and involved management to provide long-term top-to-bottom organizational support. An unwavering focus on the customer both internally and externally. Effective involvement in utilization of the entire workforce. Continuous improvement of the business and production process. Treating suppliers as partners. Establish performance measures for the processes. Transformation to TQM. Business organization cannot start the transformation to TQM until it is aware that the quality of the product or service must be improved. According to E. Deming, quality improvement is not limited to the conformance of the product to specifications. It involves the inherent quality in the design of the system. The prevention of product and process problem is a more desirable objective than taking corrective actions after the product is manufactured or a service rendered. It takes a long period of time to build appropriate systems and techniques into the culture because TQM does not occur overnight. There are no quick solutions. Quality means excellent product or service that satisfies or exceeds our expectations. The Deming philosophy. According to D.H. Besterfield, Dr. Edward Deming was influenced of Dr. Walter Shewhart, who pioneered statistical process control or SPC at Bell Laboratories. The 14 Deming points. Create and publish the aims and purposes of the organization. Learn the new philosophy. Understand the purpose of inspection. Stop awarding business based on price alone. Improve constantly and forever the system. Institute training. Teach and institute leadership. Drive out fear, create trust, and create a climate for innovation. Optimize the efforts of teams, groups, and staff areas. Eliminate exhortations for the workforce. Eliminate numerical quotas for workforce and management by objectives. Remove barriers that rob people for pride of workmanship. Institute a vigorous program of education and self-improvement for everyone. Put everybody in the company to work accomplishing the transformation. Impediments of TQM. Many business organizations, like small ones, are comfortable with their present condition and satisfied with the work being performed, and as long as that their customers are satisfied, this kind of organization do not need TQM until they begin to lose market share. People became accustomed to doing things in a particular way. TQM is viewed as another thing that is deemed to fail. It is hard for individuals to change their way of doing things. It is much more difficult for a business organization to make a cultural change. A training in the 6 concept is needed to overcome these impediments to TQM. Defined as methodology that allows an organization to determine the extent to which its resources are used for activities that prevent poor quality, defects, or failures. Having such information allows an organization to determine the potential savings to be gained by implementing process improvement. Cost of quality is also an important communication tool. According to Philip Crosby, demonstrated what a powerful tool it could be to raise awareness of the importance of quality. He referred to the measure as the price of non-conformance and argued that organizations choose to pay for poor quality. The cost of doing a quality job, conducting quality improvement, and achieve goals must be carefully managed so that the long-term effect of quality on the organization is desirable one. Many organizations will have true quality-related costs as high as 15 to 20% of sales revenue, some going as high as 40% of total operations. A general rule of thumb is that cost of poor quality in a thriving company will be about 10 to 15% of operations. The quality cost system, once established, should become dynamic and have a positive impact to the achievement of the organization's mission, goals, and objectives. Classification of failure cost. Internal failure costs are incurred to remedy defects discovered before the products or service is delivered to the customers. They could include the following: waste, performance of unnecessary work or holding of stock as a result of errors, poor organization or communication, scrap, defective product or materials that cannot be repaired, used, or sold, rework or rectification, corrections of defective materials or error failure analysis. External failure costs are incurred to remedy defects discovered by customers. These costs occur when products or services that fail to reach design quality standards are not detected until after transfer to the customers. They could include repairs and servicing of both returned products and those in the field, warranty claims, failed products that are replaced or services that are reformed under a guarantee, complaints, all work and costs associated with handling and servicing customers' complaints, returns, handling and investigation of rejected or recalled products including transport costs. Reducing the cost of quality failure prevention. Prevention costs are incurred to prevent or avoid quality problems because prevention is the key to reduce quality costs. These costs are associated with the design, implementation, and maintenance of the quality management system. They are planned and incurred before actual assembly of the product at the shop floor. The customer support process should be analyzed for waste and process capability, typically by monitoring the time to initial response and overall time to resolution. Chapter 3, Leadership Effectiveness. Leadership is defined as L. Leadership is loyalty to God, country, and people. E. Enthusiasm to help others. A. Advocacy, action, and accomplishments. D. Dedication and discipline. E. Excellence, work for others to follow. R. Reliability, responsibility, and respect. S. Sincerity, self-sacrifice, and social justice. H. Humility, honesty, helpfulness, and hard work. I. Integrity, interest, and idealism. Lastly, P. Patience and perseverance. Four types of Filipino leadership. Number 1 is pakiramdam. Style that does not provide workers with guidance required to give them a sense of initiative. Number 2, takutan. Put responsibility to manager who relies on oppression and conceit. Manager persuades subordinates obey without complaints to avoid threats and punishment. Number 3. Kulit. Superior observes and controls the work of their subordinates by checking every detail of the assignment. There is a lack of freedom. Number 4. Pachamba-chamba, no goals, objective, and direct instruction, leaving success to fate. Characteristic of effective leaders. Give attention to external and internal customers' need, empower rather than control. Emphasize improvement, encourage collaboration than competition. They train and coach. They learn from problems. Continually improve communications, commitment to quality. Choose supplier based on quality and not price. Establish organizational systems for quality effort. And lastly, recognize team efforts. Strategic planning. The period of time for strategic planning is 10 years and short-term planning is 1 year or less. Both types of planning require goals and objectives. What is goal and objectives? According to John Pesico Jr. and Gory and Naclin, goal is for long-term and objectives is for short-term planning. There are 7 basic steps to strategic quality planning: customer needs, customer positioning, predict the future, gap analysis, closing the gap, alignment, and lastly, implementation. Chapter 4, Total Quality Management Implementation. One of the best technical tools for improving product and service quality is statistical process control. This technical tool not only controls process but has a capability to improve it. Seven basic techniques. Number 1, Pareto diagram, also known as Pareto rule or the 80-20 rule. 80% of consequences came from 20% of the causes. Process flow diagram. Flow of product or service as it moves through various processing operations. It answers the question, who is the net customers? Cause and effect diagram, referred as Ishikawa diagram or fishbone diagram because of its shapes. To investigate either a bad effect and to take action to correct the causes, or a good effect and to learn those causes that are responsible. Checklist or check sheets to ensure that the data are collected carefully and accurately by operating personnel, sometimes called as a tally sheet. Histogram. The first statistical SPC technique is the histogram. It describes the variation in the process. Lastly, scatter diagrams, also called scatter plot or XY graph. It graphs pairs of numerical data with one variable on each axis to look for relationship between them. PDSA cycle. PDSA, Plan, Do, Study, Act. Problem-solving process used in business process improvement. Kaizen Mindset, PDCA, Plan Do Check Act, made popular by Dr. Edward Deming, was modified PDCA to PDSA. Plan, establish objectives and processes to deliver results. Do, implement the new processes. Study, evaluate new processes and compare the result. And lastly, act, analyze differences to determine their cause. Masters 1996, factors leading to ineffective TQM implementation, lack of management commitment, weak comprehension, inability to change organizational cultures, lack of accuracy in quality planning, absence of continuous training and education, and lastly, insufficient resources. Chapter 5 ISO Certification. Even before the arrival of Spaniards, our forefathers were doing business with Chinese and Indian traders, and trade continues to this day. ISO 9000, set of criteria when applied correctly will help organizations develop capability to retain satisfied customers. Requirements. Procedure cover key processes in business. Monitoring processes. Keeping adequate records. Checking output for defects, regularly review individual processes and quality, and lastly, facilitation continual improvement. Quality Management System, a set of policies, processes, and procedures required for planning and execution. The concept of quality management. A quality management system in its basic concept is quite simple. It seeks to recognize interested party requirements, ensure all requirements have been met, training for employees, determining processes, interaction, inputs and outputs, record for evidence requirements have been met. 3 primary processes for a management system. Number 1, core processes, key supporting processes, and lastly, management system supporting processes. ISO 14001:2015 and Environmental Management System. The purpose of ISO 14001 Management System Standard is to specify general requirements and guidelines. The standard was revised in 2015. The primary operational components of an ISO 14001 EMS can be grouped as follows. Create, update environmental policy. Plan, environmental legal aspect, objectives, and programs. Do, resources, documentation, operational control, and emergency preparedness. Check, monitor, evaluate compliance, preventive action, and control of records. And lastly, act, management review and ISO 14001 audit. The history of environmental management system. 1990 to 1994, compliance management meant focusing regulation. 1994 to current, environmental management system brought more systematic 1998 to current, environmental information management systems involve using web-based system, 2002 to current, environmental process management system used quality tools, 2006 to current, sustainability requires integrating environmental, social, and economic goals. In 2004, Larry R. Smith defined sustainability solutions for both the short and long-term effects of designing on social responsibility. Quality Awards. Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award Competition, European Foundation for Quality Management, Canada Award for Excellence, and Alliance for Performance Excellence. Chapter 6 is Customer Satisfaction. Dr. Edward Deming stated quality means anticipating future needs of customers. Customer satisfaction, not increasingly profits, must be primary goal of organization. It is the most important consideration because satisfied customers will lead to increased profits. Service quality. Service and quality has emphasis on availability of quality services to users. The higher the service quality, the higher customer satisfaction. Features of services. Tqm Fundamentals philosophy is continuous process improvements. Customer needs changing and becoming more demanding. Factors influence purchases, performance, involve fitness for use, features, secondary characteristic of product or service, method for business to give customers added value, warranty, business public promise to quality product, price, customers are willing to spend higher a price to obtain value, reputation, customer satisfaction is based on entire experience. Customer feedback must be continually solicited and monitored. Methods to obtain responses from customers. Common card, a low-cost method and it is attached to warranty. Survey, common technique for gathering opinions about product and services. Focus groups, group of customers gathered in meeting room to answer questions. Toll-free telephone numbers, business can respond faster and cheaper to complaints. Customer visits, manager should be involved in visits. Report card, it is sent to every customer on a quarterly basis. Kano model, Noriaki Kano developed Kano model in 1980. System of product development and customer satisfaction help classify customer preference and focus business effort. Following image can show how information can be tracked to make it easier to use this model. Must be quality. Any product or feature must be quality category are going to be requirements for customer. One-dimensional quality, the one that when delivered upon properly will drive customer fulfillment. Attractive quality, the one that will cause increased satisfaction to customers. Indifferent quality, something that customer won't care but one way or the other. Reversed quality, feature can cause customer dissatisfaction even when done properly. Benefits of Kano model. Using the Kano model allows a company to take information from customers and apply it directly to the planning and creation of products. Chapter 7, Employee Involvement. What is employee involvement? Employee involvement is very important for achievement and maintenance of high-quality standards. Effective communication. It is an indispensable instrument for organizational success. Without communication, one remains isolated and stranded. Employee motivation. Motivating factors include such things as improving morale and job skills, utilizing proper communication skills, safe work environment, and good management skills. Theories that supports the idea of motivation. Hierarchy theory by Dr. Abraham H. Maslow. This is the most quoted of all theories existing today. Theory X, characterizes by Sigmund Freud, characterizes employees as given below: avoid work, no ambition, no initiative, not take responsibility. To make employee work, management has to do the following: reward, coerce, immediate, and punish. Gregor's theory by Douglas Gregor. People is given below: want to learn, work is natural activity, have self-discipline, and develop themselves. Herzberg 2 Factory Theory by Frederick Herzberg. Motivational aspect of human beings are divided into the following. Number 1, hygiene theory includes the company, its policies, and its administration supervision, which people receive, working conditions, interpersonal relations, salary states, and security. Motivation factors include achievement and recognition, interest in task, responsibility for enlarged tasks, growth and advancement to higher level tasks. Team building. Common reason why supervisors do not support empowering teams are reluctance to give up power, need to set good example, job sensitivity, and fear for looking bad. Team trainings. Important for an effective team, it must be experimental because trainees will retain 20% of what they do. Performance appraisal. To improve performance, let employees know how they are doing and provide a basis for promotions, salary increases, and counseling. Employees' recognition and award. Recognition. Powerful moves for letting employees know that they are important. Awards should be appropriate to the situation by being rank ordered. The higher the achievement, the higher the award. Benefits of employees. Benefits can be derived from employees' involvement as stated by D.H. Besterfields. Employees make better decisions using their expert knowledge. Employees spot and pinpoint areas for improvement, able to take immediate corrective actions. And lastly, reduced labor management problems.
Chapter 8, entitled Continuous Process Improvement. So what is the importance of continuous process improvement? The primary goal is to attain perfection by continuously improving business and production processes. So we continuously improve by the following. Number 1, considering all work as a process and regulating in-process performance. Number 2, doing effective, efficient, adaptable processes and planning. Number 3, removing waste and activities that do not add value. And number 4, employing technical tools such as SPC, benchmarking, and QFT. The next topic is about the Duran trilogy. Dr. Joseph M. Duran developed 3 components of process improvement, such as planning, control, and improvement. In planning, it starts with external customers, and marketing determines external customers. Those external customers may be quite numerous. In control, it's used by operating forces to help meet the product and service requirements. Statistical process control, primary technique for achieving control. In improvements, it aims to achieve levels of performance that are significantly higher than current levels. Let's proceed to Kaizen. It is a Japanese word and is a philosophy that defines management role in continuously encouraging and implementing small improvements involving everyone. So there are three basic principles of Kaizen. Number 1 is workplace effectiveness, wherein the 5S practices are number 1, seiri, which means separate out all unnecessary things. Number 2, seiton, which means arrange things in order. Number 3 is seiso, which means keep machinery and working environments clean. Number 4 is seiketsu, which means cleaning and checking as a routine practice. And number 5, shitsuke, which means standardize the previous steps. Number 2 is eliminating waste, strain, and discrepancy. Kaizen used to elimination 3 moves. First is muda, it means waste. Second, muri, which means strain. Third is mura, which means discrepancy. So waste, strain, and discrepancy can have reduced the following. Number 1, human resources, production volumes, and inventory. Number 2, time, working space, and machinery. Number 3, technique, facilities, tools, jigs, and think. The third and last basic principles of Kaizen is standardization. Kaizen stresses standardization of processes, materials, machinery with the following objectives. Number 1, represent the best, easiest, and safest way to carry out a job. Number 2, standardize all the procedures that are used in the organization. Number 3, standardize the training programs and audit for diagnosing problems. And number 4, standardize the procedures for preventing occurrence of errors. Let's move forward to Chapter 9, which is Supplier Partnership. Partnering is a long-term commitment between 2 or more business organizations. So there are 3 elements to a partnering relationship. Number 1, long-term commitment. It provides the needed environment for both parties to work towards continuous improvement. Number 2 is trust. It enables the resources and knowledge of each partner to be combined to eliminate an adversarial relationship. Number 3 is shared vision. Every partnering business organization must understand the need to satisfy the end user. The next topic is sourcing. There are 3 types of sourcing. Number 1 is sole, wherein business organization is forced to use only one supplier. Number 2 is multiple, wherein multiple sourcing is use of 2 or more suppliers for an item. Number 3 is single. This is a planned decision by business organization to select one supplier for an item when several sources are available. Next is principles of customer or supplier relations. Kaoru Ishikawa recommended 10 principles. Number 1, customer and supplier are fully responsible for control of quality. Number 2, customer and supplier should be independent of each other. Number 3, customer is responsible to provide supplier with clear requirements. Number 4, customer and supplier should enter a non-adversarial contract. Number 5, supplier is responsible for providing quality that satisfies the customer. Number 6, customer and supplier should decide the method to evaluate quality of product. Number 7, customer and supplier should establish in contract the method. Number 8, customer and supplier should continuously exchange information. Number 9, customer and supplier should perform business activities. And number 10, customer and supplier has a best interest of end user in mind. Next is supplier certification. Certification process shall start after supplier begins shipment of product. This process has been described by Customer or Supplier Technical Committee of American Society for Quality Control. Next is supplier rating. The objectives of a supplier rating system, as stated by R.J. DeCock, are the following. Number 1, obtain overall rating of supplier performance and complete communications. Number 2, provide each supplier with a detailed and factual record of problems. And number 3, enhance relationship between customer and supplier. The next topic is relationship development. Number 1 is inspection. The goal is to eliminate, substantially reduce, or automate the inspection activity. Number 2 is training. In small organization, the managers perform many-faceted functions. Therefore, the customer or a consultant must start the training process. Number 3 is team approach. Customer or supplier teams are organized in a number of areas, such as product design, process design, and the quality system. Number 4 is recognition and award. Creating incentives for suppliers is one way to ensure they remain committed to quality improvement strategy. Let's proceed to Chapter 10, which is Performance Measure. According to Ray F. Bodecker, there are essential elements of performance measures. Number 1 is objectives. It establishes baseline measures and reveal trends. Determine processes to improve and indicate gains and losses. It also provides individual and team evaluation. Number 2 is typical measurement. Suggested items that can be measured such as human resources, customers and suppliers, production and administration, research development, and marketing. Number 3 is criteria. These are the criteria that to be followed. First is simple and few in number. Second, developed by users and relevance to customer. And third, improvement, cost, and visible. Number 4 is characteristics. It used to measure performance, like quantity and cost, time and accuracy, function, aesthetics, and service. Next is the Malcolm-Baldrige criteria for performance excellence. Malcolm-Baldrige National Quality Award was envisioned as a standard of excellence that would help U.S. organizations achieve world-class quality. So these are the criteria for performance excellence fact sheet. Number 1 is the criteria characteristics. It focuses on result, support a system's perspective, and goal-based diagnosis. These are also non-prescriptive and adaptable to promote creative and flexible approaches. Number 2 is criteria goals. These are the criteria that are designed to help organizations to deliver of ever-improving value to customers, and also the improvement of overall organization and personal learning. Number 3 is criteria purposes. These are the criteria that are used to all kinds for self-assessment and training and a tool to develop performance and business processes. Next is the 7 categories make up the award criteria. First is leadership. It examines how senior executives guide and sustain organization. Second is strategic planning. It examines how organization sets strategic directions. Third is customer focus. It examines how organization determines requirements and expectations. Fourth is measurement analysis and knowledge management. It examines how management improve of data and information. Fifth is workforce focus. It examines how organization manages and develops those actively involved in accomplishing the work. Sixth is process management. It examines how support processes are designed, managed, and improved. Then lastly is the results. It examines the organization's performance. Next is the core values and concepts. Baldrige core values and concepts are as follows. First, visionary leadership and focus to future. Second, customer-driven excellence, organizational and personal learning. Third, valuing workforce and partners and management by facts. Then lastly, societal responsibility, focus on results and creating value. Let's move to Chapter 11, which is benchmarking. So what is benchmarking? According to L.S. Pryor, benchmarking is measuring performance against that of best-in-class organizations, determining how the best-in-class achieve those performance levels, and using the information as the basis for goals, strategies, and implementation. So what are the reasons to benchmarking? It is a powerful and effective tool to attain business and competitive objectives. So what is the process of benchmarking? So there are 6 steps containing core techniques such as number 1, decide what to benchmark. Number 2, understand current performance. Number 3 is plan. Number 4, study first. Number 5, learn from the data. And number 6 is use the findings. Selecting what to benchmark. In other words, when deciding what to benchmark, it is good to start by thinking about vision, mission, and critical success factors. In understanding present performance, to compare practices to outside benchmarks, it is first important to properly understand and document present process. You can also use the techniques such as flow diagrams and cause and effect diagrams. Benchmarking planning. When internal processes are understood and documented, it is possible to make decisions about how to conduct the study. Benchmarking is a learning process. So learning from the data generated in a benchmarking study involves answering a series of questions, such as, is there a gap between organizations' performance and performance of best-in-class organizations? Next question is, what and where is the gap? How much is it? Then lastly, if best-in-class practices were adopted, what would be resulting improvement? In using the findings must translate to goals and objectives, and action plans must be developed to implement new processes. In basic criticisms of benchmarking, basically, benchmarking can be summed up quite simple. It is not a cure or remedy. It is also not a strategy, nor is it intended to be a business philosophy. Now let's move forward to Chapter 12, which is Quality Function Deployment Learning. In introduction, quality function deployment is a structured approach to defining customer needs or requirements and translating them into specific plans to produce products to meet those needs. In quality function deployment team, there are 2 types of team, namely new product team and existing product team. The similarities are, it allows information to be collected between. It also keeps the team focused on quality improvement goal. Team leaders should assure that the duration of the meeting will rely on where team members are coming from. What are the benefits of quality deployment team? Number 1, a systematic way of obtaining information and presenting it. Number 2, shorter product development cycle and reduced startup costs. Number 3, fewer engineering changes. Number 4, reduced chance of overnights. Number 5, an environment of teamwork. Number 6, everything is preserved in writing. Number 7, useful tool for improving product quality. Number 8, useful for competitive analysis. Number 9, cuts down on rejects and rework at production site. Number 10, it decreases claims substantially. And number 11, marketing benefits are obtained by identifying sales point. So what is the quality function deployment process? Quality function deployment begins with product planning, continues with product design and process design, and finishes with process control, quality control, testing, equipment, maintenance, and training. Quality function deployment is an extremely useful methodology to facilitate communication, planning, and decision-making within a product development team.